Alright, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to give all praise and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles, double honors to the elders, a great millstone, and salutations to your brothers that are teaching the truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth. We the brothers from the GMS Atlanta camp. I'm your brother Kabash.
The brother Rock. And the brother Zakaria.
And we here to prophesy down we here to prophesy the downfall of Esau's kingdom. I got a little tongue-tied. I've been tongue-tied for like a couple of days now. It's just Satan. But this is an article titled, Experts Warn of Chaos for the U.S. Economy as China Declares that the biggest trade war in economic history has begun. The title speaks for itself, man. And now I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs, but if you brothers want to open up with an opening scripture, then we can. Because the Lord said that Esau should build the desolate places, but he's going to tear it down, pursuant to Malachi chapter 1, verse 4. And also, even Esau cuts his own self. He says, order out of chaos on the dollar bill. So Esau's know what he's doing, particularly the elite, because they allow this to happen because they have the power and say-so behind each and every society, because they make the rules of who's going to be rich and who's going to be poor. But people don't know that's the so-called white man doing that. Why? Because the Lord had made the deceiver to deceive the people. And that's pursuant to Revelation chapter 20, verse 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. But go ahead, out.
Yeah, I'm going to open up with that Malachi. This is Malachi 1 and 4. It says, whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And
that's true. They did build upon the desolate places thereof. Meaning, when they came out of that prison that you read in Revelation chapter 20, turn to Revelation 20, verse I think 6 or 7. When they rose up out of that prison and created the Renaissance, they whitewashed the truth of history. Then they came into It came into their minds that okay, we're gonna conquer over here in the Western Hemisphere where the other Israelites are, the Northern Kingdom. Christopher Columbus, you know, they came and slaughtered our people on this land, and they took it, and they built up their empire. Because Esau was once desolate. You got some more on that?
Yep.
Matter of fact, let me hit Revelation chapter 20 right quick.
Go ahead.
This is Revelation 20 and verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison.
And it's talking about Esau. It's talking about the so-called white man.
Go ahead. Verse 8. And shall go out to deceive the nations.
And how was he brought down into prison? You go back to the Roman Empire. At the latter end of the Roman Empire, Jake started to rise up. You can read that in Revelation chapter 20, verse 1. And it talks about numerous of Jakes, such as Constantine, his forefathers, and Septimius. Septimius. I forgot his name, but the apostles and brothers have been mentioning the so-called barbarians and the gladiators that took down the Roman Empire and created the Holy Roman Empire, and they went about the ways of this law, such as Constantine Noble, he created Christianity and stuff like that. And that's how Esau got into his prison. He became a slave. He became a nobody, back to his true identity, which is a base man that's written in Daniel. But when the Lord had healed his wound and rose him up out of that prison, he went out to deceive the earth and then build up his empire. But it's all according to scriptures. That's it on that. You can read on Malachi.
Malachi 1 and 4, I start back at the top. It says, whereas in Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Okay, you break it down.
Okay. And it says, like the brother was going into, they will build, but the Most High will throw down. All right? And we all know who the border of wickedness is. That's talking about Esau, Edom, and his wicked ass kingdom.
Yeah, to name some of them, America,
Yep.
UK, Russia.
Yep.
Mainly the ones that has the influence of this earth. Go ahead.
That has, these other nations drunken off the wine.
Yeah.
That it speaks about in Revelations, the 18th chapter.
And I had that that you mentioned too, Jeremiah too.
All right,
Spirit.
Was that it on? Yep. Go ahead and bring that out. What you got?
This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Yep. Therefore the nations are mad.
Yeah, and you see it now. The United States has an embassy on damn near every continent, if not every continent, and they influence the world in such a way, that it has the world drunken off that wine, so to speak. All right. Yep. But these other nations, man, they getting tired of American bullshit, man, and they gonna eventually shoot off those missiles, man.
Yeah, they mad from that wine that they drunken from America. And that wine is the philosophies, like you said, the ways of America. Like in Saudi Arabia, now America don't push that vibe, saying that, oh, Saudi Arabia is not fair, or it's not a peaceful place to live at, such as America, because we let our women work and pursue a career, but they don't know the troubles behind that shit. The woman is claiming that she's independent, but she doesn't know how to raise a family. And over there in Saudi Arabia that I'd like to mention, that America caused confusion over there, because now the woman is driving over there. Them princes and men over there in Saudi Arabia don't want to appease that, meaning, have it okay for a woman to drive, because it never was since this time over there. Matter of fact, it was a time in the ancient world that all the women were subjection under men, and they didn't do the stuff that men do. But now it's acceptable because Esau is in power. Because the Lord, like he said in the scripture, he made Esau's a golden cup. You got a golden cup. You basically in a royal setting. You're basically in a noble vine, so to speak. You in rulership. They're saying I wasn't raised off a silver spoon. People with a silver spoon, they got some type of money and stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, Khan. Then verse 8, I'm going to just continue, right?
Yeah.
Khan, verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
Oh, it's suddenly fallen. How is it fallen? It's currency.
Yeah. The nations are, ain't using the dollar bill, so to speak.
Yep.
They doing what? Trade wars.
Yeah, why they ain't doing China and the rest of them nations that's aligned or allied with China is trading the money by gold and China currency? Why they ain't going after China like they did Gaddafi?
Exactly.
Because they know, man.
Yeah, they got nuclear power.
These
nations, Joel chapter 3, if you ain't got nothing. Joel chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord is waking these nations up.
If America really wanted to, they can just bomb China. Like they've been doing it throughout history.
They did Japan like that, yeah.
Now they know that these nations have they got power now.
Yep.
And they're scared,
And they don't want to just move like that. They don't want to just move reckless like that. Because how is America that virgin? Is because this land have never been touched by war, nuclear, missiles, none of that stuff. Now the Twin Towers, that was all a host. That was an inside job of the government, because the government of the United States is not finna allow no heathen to attack without American gaining something.
Exactly.
Because America is a superpower. The MostHigh gave the power to the elites, and one of the tools of the elite is America.
Right.
It's ruled by Esau in America. Don't get it twisted. Go ahead.
Oh, Con.
Oh,
Yeah, Joel.
Yeah.
Con.
What you call it, Joel?
Joel chapter 3, verse
Chapter 3.
9.
9. This is Joel chapter 3 verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
And that's what the Lord is doing right now. He's telling these Gentiles through the Spirit, because the Most High plants the issues in the king head that he wants to have initiated or brought forth. Because this is the Most High's world. The Most High is the king over the kingdom of men. Go ahead.
It says,
and he's using his prophet. He's using us. The men of the Lord started with the apostles of heart and apostles of Great Millstone and the elders and the Akim and those who teaching the same doctrine as GMS. We're preaching that that these times are about to come. World War III. Go ahead.
Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears.
Meaning they putting all their money that they would use to build up their economy, like with agriculture, because you're using plow tools. They mentioned an instrument. It's like they're using garden tools to paint the picture or speak in parables about how they would take their focus off of building up their society by ways of means of agriculture, different goods and resources, and mainly putting all that into their military might.
Yeah.
And that's why Esau, the so-called white man, which is America, is really perpetually hating these other nations for their nuclear war weapon missile operations.
Yeah.
That's why they want to put sanctions on them. But the Lord is not going to let that happen because this is His word. Go ahead.
I would say, and you see, once Donald Trump got in office, what he did, fuck putting money towards education and all that other bullshit. Now he's putting a big percentage into the military, man, because he knows what's going on.
Oh, and he already silently, which the media don't declare, he already pronounced the draft. The draft, man. A lot of you niggas that don't want to listen, that's part of the nation of Israel by blood, really by spirit, but you're not going to be saved by spirit because you are the 2/3 of the flesh, Israel of the flesh. You're going to be drafted over there in war, and you're not going to come back.
Like you say too, when I was getting some stuff done, they had that little draft thing. I was getting, my new license.
Oh yeah.
They was like, hey, click here to do it and stuff like that. I ain't do it, but
voters registration.
I skipped all that, Then they was like, you got to do it, and I was like, nah, I just press next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're trying to deceive you or tricking you into doing it so you can get drafted.
Yeah, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
Yeah.
He try to come in and manipulate you and sneak shit in. But hey, we see you, man. We call you out on it.
Right. But that's Satan though, because now they proclaiming from the top up, meaning the government, they proclaiming peace among these people that's in this land and in other lands, that they're trying to cause peace, and if it ain't no peace on which words they speak of that is peace and the other nations don't abide by it, then they cause wars to happen, battles to happen, just like over there in Syria. I think the brother said America just bombed Syria this week.
Yeah.
And they trying to bring the leader over there too of that chemical attack weeks ago on his own people. It doesn't even add up. There was no death rate or nothing. But they still want to perpetuate their deceptive or deceivers or they lies in this world, man, to have their agenda fulfilled.
Yeah,
but
propaganda.
But it's not. That's why the Lord's raising up these other nations too. Go ahead.
It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Yeah, and it's going to happen, man. That's the climax of World War III. These other nations are rising up, man.
Yeah.
So I'm finna read a couple of paragraphs in this article, then, we're going to wrap it up. A couple of scriptures that y'all got. I know we're pressed for time. It says in the top of the paragraph, nothing is going to be the same after this. On Friday, the United States hit China with $34 billion in tariffs, and China immediately responded with similar tariffs. Goes to show that America tries to push its sanctions, and because it's providing resources and stuff like that for these other nations or doing business, that it should be always on top. Now they speak of equal, but it's not equal. And in terms that I'm speaking of is China is demanding more from America than America is putting out there and trying to gain back, according to resources, imports, exports of goods. Because America doesn't produce its own goods. And America is also in debt. So America is really losing in this trade war. That's what it's saying. If it stopped there, this trade war between the United States and China would not be catastrophic for the global economy. But it isn't going to stop there. Donald Trump is already talking about hitting China with an additional $500 billion in tariffs, which would essentially cover pretty much everything that China exports to the U.S. in a typical year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The Chinese have accused Trump of starting the biggest trade war in economic history. Why? Because they want to lead this trade war to world war. Because ultimately, if you don't abide to America ways and rules and regulations, they're going to
basically pop it off like they've been doing throughout history.
Inevitably, or soon to happen, start a war with you. They're going to send an economic hitman. It's, brothers showed this in the YouTube, how the economic hitman, like they sent several things to talk down the leader on how to cooperate with America and how America's going to take care of them. That's how they did with Saudi Arabia. That's why they got the woman over there driving, like I said before, to comply with America's ways and how America wants to do business with that land. But if you don't, then they're gonna put dirt on your name in the media, which they own, by the way, and tell them what to propaganda or just display for everybody to try to manipulate the people that watch the news. But it's not going to work though. It's not going to work because the MostHigh is raising these weak nations that was once weak to the so-called white man is rising up now, back in their strength, like they was in the ancient world.
Yeah, let the weak say I'm strong.
Let the weak say I'm strong, yeah. And this is the weak saying that I am strong. And they are pleading or pledging to fight for as long as it takes. As I discussed it yesterday, the only way that one side is going to win this trade war is if the other side completely backs down. That simply is not going to happen. So there is going to be economic pain, and that pain is likely to intensify for as long as this trade war persists. U.S. businesses, and have you noticed too, the gas prices been going up. You go in a grocery store, you paying, it looks like it's low because there's a couple of pennies there, and brothers been going over this in classes recently. How the dollar's just brought down low, and this dollar is worth nothing. And how you gotta pay so much on how this nation money used to go, far as the eye can see.
Yeah. Inflation.
And spending. Yeah.
Inflation.
Now it's just inflation.
Yeah.
Like it speaks in Habakkuk chapter 2, it goes into Esau having that clay, that thick clay, which is the debt.
Yeah.
That's what this article is going into. It says, so there is to be economic pain, and that pain is likely to intensify for as long as this trade war persists. U.S. businesses that will be affected by foreign tariffs are already cutting back production and laying off workers. And CNN is reporting that 1,300 products have suddenly become more expensive. Somebody give me Isaiah chapter 19. For U.S. consumers. Like I just been mentioning, you go to the grocery store, you could buy like 3 items, and you spend like $20.
Yeah, prime example, last night, brothers know like we ate and everything like that. I bought 2 items, and it went all the way up to $21.
Exactly.
2 items.
Now I can name you a couple of items. You can buy some trash bag, healthy trash bags, $6.99, depending on what store you're going to. Then you can buy a carton of milk and bread. That's $20. That's $20, G.
Then you know they gotta add their tax on that shit.
Then the taxes, yeah. So this dollar is finished, man. But at the same time, America's still proud and want to still continue to build this desolation place that they had in their hearts. Because like it says in Job, it says, I think it's songs of Job, that they think in their heart that their places
shall live forever.
Yeah, shall live forever. That's why they got their names, certain head figures' names that used to
This their name in the streets after themselves.
Yeah, be important in America. Yeah, like Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Jackson,
King Street.
Yeah, but they set him up. He just
they set him up.
Yeah, they ain't talking about that nigga. They ain't even want him up. They ain't even want his name up.
Yeah.
But you get that in Job 20, bro. Who got that in?
I got Isaiah 19.
Give me Isaiah chapter 19. You can start from the second verse.
This is Isaiah 19 and verse 2. And I went and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. Esau is going against each other, and mainly at the top, you had Trump being proud amongst the Germans. That was in the news earlier last week, and the brothers made videos about that because Germany is making backdoor deals, I think, with China, just like Turkey. These are the nations that has been in league with thee shall overtake thee, man.
Come on.
And that beast which Germany is a part of, NATO, is really going into how they going against America now is written in Revelation chapter 17. Now go ahead and jump down to verse 14 in Isaiah chapter 19.
Come on. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 14. The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggering in his vomit.
And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. Esau is drunk off his own supply, man.
Yeah, he wallowing in his own shit, man.
Yeah, because you know them proud people that I seen in the movies, like, a proud wicked person, and then they get drunk, and then they secrets be found out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just like Pharaoh. So Esau's true self is being showed through his drunkenness. Like I heard the saying too, people say that you give a person some liquor or something like that, their true self will come out.
Yeah.
That's what Esau's doing. Yeah.
A drunk tongue speak a sober mind.
Oh, come,
That's the
yeah.
saying.
Oh, come. I ain't never heard of it.
Your
It's
thoughts
similar
come
to
out.
Yeah.
You know, when you're drunk, like anything you basically think, it's just gonna come out. The secrets,
Yep.
what you feel about someone, everything's gonna just come out.
Yeah, and that's his proudness. That's Esau's proudness
Yeah.
amongst these other nations and his fellow allies.
Gun.
But his end is coming to an end, man. And the Lord's about to put that wrath on him. Like, we ain't just speaking these words to look cute and shit. These words is really gonna happen, man.
Gun.
Literally. Because it happened to us.
Yeah.
We still going through the curses pursuant to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 to verse 68. Go ahead.
Gun.
Verse 12, 15.
Yeah, con. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do.
Yeah, and that's talking about in America, man. Everybody's going through temp agencies to get a job. You might be lucky if you have good network from a person within to just get you straight on in through the application system instead of through the temp service. You got broken homes because of financial issues, because people ain't working like they used to back in the early 90s and early 2000s.
Okay.
This system, this economy came crashing after the gold standard wasn't backed by after the dollar wasn't backed by the gold standard no more back in 1970. And it's been happening before the 1970s, soon to 1933. And soon before that, when they made the plan to crash the dollar in 1913 in Jekyll Island, Georgia, down here in this state, with the big elites like J.P. Morgan. And you know they had the Rothschilds there, but they don't want to put it in names, but they had big figures' names to meet up in Jekyll Island to crash this whole society. And I read up on an article too that the elite been wanted to crash this society. This society was in debt ever since it started. It wasn't towards no great American dream that these people love to say out in these streets, or pledge to these people to, or may paint the scene that America is all about the American dream to live happily ever after. No. This was set up for one purpose, for the elite to gain their new world order. That's why they're about to crash this damn economy down, and they're going to bring forth this RFID chip, which is the new medium for exchange and trade, which is written in Revelation chapter 13. And that's what's going to happen next. It could be this year, it could be 6 months in the next year. But it's going to happen, man.
Real soon, man.
Yep. And that's it on that.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Job chapter 20, verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him.
And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And like we've been saying, like this tool that the elite is using, because the elite are not in America. America is military, it's teeth to rule, but it's crashing down too because all these other nations are against it, and its own family line through the spirit. Russia, it's a superpower. China is a superpower, and they're teaming up with these other allies that have nuclear capability power to go against America. They all on the same agenda. The BRICS, they all on the same agenda.
Yeah, even soon NATO gonna turn against America, because you heard Trump say he don't see how being in NATO is beneficial to the United States.
Yeah, that's
what he said.
Yeah, that's in Revelation chapter 17. The beast shall hate the whore.
Yeah.
The harlot is or that whore is America that's riding on that 10-headed beast. So all these things are coming to pass. It's like it's right in our face, man. So we shouldn't give up as the hopefully elect. So in this fulfillment, he's going to try to bring forth this new world order.
Yeah. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast his fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And that filling of the belly is that new world order that these elites think they're about to finally push, and fill their belly when it comes to that.
Yeah, because they eating off this war.
Yep.
They eating off the trials and tribulations of us, the Israelites, being in a poor state, World War III, the dollar crashing. That's them eating, man. You ever heard the term food for thought? In their minds, they're eating their plans, what they planned in their head. But the Most High gave them that plan, that food for thought, to try to go and fulfill their pleasures, which is the New World Order. Maintain population in the world, 500 million people.
Judge guys.
Yep. Killing off 9 billion people.
Yep.
Or 9.5 or 8.5.
Yep. And it says, when they're about to fill his belly, the Lord is going to cast their fury and wrath upon them, which are those thermonuclear missiles.
Yep. And he's going to come back with the chariots, with Yahweh Shah. And the rest of the elect, and the elect that is down here, that is going to not taste of death, we're going to rise up in that spiritual power and tear down Esau's kingdom too as well, pursuant to Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. First, we're fishers. We're fishing right now for the elect's sake to wake up. Then we're going to become hunters. So with that, we're going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. That was to the apostles and elders. Salutations to you, brothers. Quam the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.